Parenting. Thank you, Your Honor. David Denton on behalf of the people.
Morning, Your Honor. Ryan Amos, on behalf of Ms. Jennifer Hooker, who's present here. As to the show cause and her failure to drop and or drop dirty, there's no excuses. My client admits all of that, and she specifically instructed me not to make any excuses for that. She is struggling with her substance use. At this time, she wants the court to know that she has relocated and lives with her sober elderly parents. She's also reconnected with her sister, who works through Northern Staffing in a management capacity, and she's in the process of hopefully assisting Jennifer in becoming employed. We did have a discussion on the fact that using methamphetamine is likely to be a significant detriment to her employment prospects, which brings me to the Catholic Human Services interaction she had with Ms. Ziegler. And I have another letter that Ms. Ziegler handed to my client that she just handed to me. And I just want to read from that letter just briefly. I look at some level of self-actualization from my client that is perhaps greater than most individuals who stand before the court due to drug use. My client wrote, "I want to stop getting in trouble. I want to be able to spend time with my grandchild. I want to stop using and build better relationship. I was finally just able to babysit my grandchild. The reason for the visit and desire to become engaged is my use continues to lead me to legal trouble. Even my PO said the only time I really get in trouble is with dope." Judge, at this point in time, she's got a significant criminal history that she acknowledges. In discussing with her, she's indicated that the vast majority, including the assaultive domestic violence that is referenced in there, stem from her drug usage and the making of poor choices and life partners and the such. So she stands before you, really, frankly, ready and willing to take any punishment the court deems appropriate in this case. She was cooperative with law enforcement in the facts giving rise to the conviction. She was cooperative in the PSI process. She was obviously not a good candidate on bond due to her ongoing use. And she's addressing that. The court is obviously aware that this is not a linear process, unfortunately, for most.
What hits me here is how addiction rewrites someone's entire life story. Jennifer knows she's hurting herself and her family, but knowing isn't the same as breaking free. The courtroom feels less like punishment and more like a mirror showing her everything she's losing.
So people that are defendants that are struggling with substance abuse, and when faced with being caught with drugs, they fall on their sword. And Ms. Hooker has done that, and I want to give her credit for that. This was a situation where back in April there was a compliance check against a third individual regarding a curfew-related violation, Jack Parks, and she was very cooperative with law enforcement. She provided consent to go in to the camper. She provided information. She agreed to testify. In fact, she did testify against Mr. Park at a prior evidentiary hearing. So that's to her credit. And I do believe that since the co-defendant pled last Friday, I believe that was in strong part largely due to the fact that he believed that she was ready, willing, and able to testify to trial. So I do want to give her credit. She's received some benefit. I would ask that the court consider that in the sentence. And with that, we would leave it to discretion of the court.
This part actually surprised me. Jennifer wasn't just another name on a docket. She cooperated, she testified, she helped law enforcement. You rarely see that level of accountability from someone deep in a habit. It's a reminder there's still a person trying inside the addiction.
Here's what I just want to say. Because part of sentencing is about deterrence. That's one of the drug houses here in the county, right? We all know that. I've been saying it so often in the last month. It's a drug house. It's a drug prop. Nope. That's okay. That's okay. Hold on. It's okay. You're not on the stand. And I'm not trying to be rude. Just because I have to have you come up here and swear you in, and we don't need to do that. But I'm tired of mentioning.
There's people that live in that house that have nothing to do with it. They're elderly people that are in.
I appreciate that. That's partially why I'm mentioning this. So nobody there turns their eyes away from
that puts everybody that lives there at risk.
I agree. That's why I'm telling you, ma'am.
And I don't live anywhere near there. I'm not.
I know.
mean, I'm not even a blood relative.
Okay, ma'am.
But I love Jennifer and I want to see her turn her life around and do better.
It's okay. It's my
Why
fault.
I'm here.
It's my fault for starting the conversation. Thank you very much.
I wish I could have talked to you in private about this.
Well, ma'am, I couldn't allow that. That would be unethical. I can't have ex parte communication, but I appreciate it. I wasn't trying to insult you or anybody. What
Well,
I'm
you
trying,
kind of are, because I don't use drugs. I'm not involved in that kind of a life at all. And you have now included me in that same address.
ma'am, I didn't, you told me you don't live there. I did not do that. So I'm just trying to say,
Paint me.
ma'am, we're done talking, ma'am. Ma'am, thank you. I was trying to be polite by saying, if you know the people that live there, let them know. Because I know this also involves a trailer or camper in the backyard. And so by letting you know, because by the way, I don't know what's always in my house. I've got 3 kids. They have tons of friends. That's why, by the way, I search the rooms when they're not paying attention. Because we don't have a 4th Amendment in the house. I was just trying to let you know so that there are people there. And if there are people that are elderly, then they need to be aware of these potential dangers. That's all. I'm sorry that you took offense to it.
I did take offense.
I noticed you've already said that to me. And I'm trying to apologize to you. And if you don't like the apology, at least I've made it, because that wasn't my intent. My intent was to protect those that are there, especially if there are grandchildren around. If we don't talk about these things, then we all don't take the opportunities that we have to help protect people. So it was intended to be positive. And I'm very sorry that you took.
Thank you for your apology.
This exchange with Jennifer's aunt is tense. The judge calls the house a drug house. The aunt feels accused. You can feel the shame, the frustration, and the confusion about who's responsible. It's raw and uncomfortable, but it also shows how addiction radiates out to whole families, not just the user.
Ms. Hooker did do a good job by helping the government on that one file involving Mr. Parker. She definitely received a benefit by getting this plea the way she did. I'm going to highlight something to Ms. Hooker. Ms. Hooker, not everybody does this. Some of the public defenders locally catch it, and I'm not picking on Mr. Nagle because he's new to it. And by the way, sometimes they put them in there just to make me feel better. Don't. This is all about you. Now, on this pre-sentence investigation report on page 1, there are comments about substances. I just want you to do it. Doesn't have to be on a piece of paper.
No, I got my PSI.
Yeah. Just look at that page 1. See at the bottom?
Yeah, prior record.
Yeah. You see those substances down there?
Yes.
You'll see that there's something missing. Now, I don't need them added, by the way. This isn't about correcting the piece of paper. In your own mind, or maybe on just your copy, you should put down September, whatever today's date, the 12th. So you know, right? Step 1 in any 12-step program is admitting the problem. So you are admitting the problem and this piece of paper for you and your family, and particularly those grandkids, although I don't have pictures of them. I rarely see ugly grandkids, so I'm sure they're adorable and cute.
Well, there.
Put an end date on there for you, okay? Jennifer, that's because I want to see you stop doing this.
This is probably the most human moment. The judge telling Jennifer to write an end date on her report, mentioning her grandkids. It's not about paperwork, it's about planting a mental milestone. He's basically saying, mark the day you choose to stop. That gave me chills.
It looks like you were sent to residential treatment, and it took you less than 2 months, about 6 weeks before you were violating the terms or conditions. So it didn't even take
Did
it.
it?
I'm sorry?
I completed rehab twice.
Okay, I got it. I'm not saying you didn't complete it, but I'm telling you here, look, it says right here that you originally had 7411, then you were discharged from it, and then you got jail. And the sentence date was November 13th of 2020, and then you were sentenced on December 7th, 2020. And you had multiple violations in 2021. In fact, you had them also in the midst of this other case, 15 of 18, which was committed while on probation. Now I discard 16, but that was dismissed. And now we're down to 17 and 18. Well, number 17 was another domestic violence for you. And you got a period of jail and you were discharged from that on November 23rd. And it took you 3 months before picking up this case. So what I'm saying here is you've had some period of time where something seems to be occurring. And when they do, you get a series of cases back to back. And violence, theft, and drugs are a significant part of your life. And they give me a great deal of concern. I'm sorry, there's something, when they do these for misdemeanors, they're not as detailed. Have you been into rehab before?
Yes, I've been in rehab before.
Have you been in inpatient rehab?
Yes.
When was the last time you had been in?
2021, 2022.
The judge's review of Jennifer's record is brutal. It's like reading a diary of mischances, rehab after rehab, violation after violation. You can sense his frustration but also his worry. This isn't just about laws being broken, it's about a life slipping through the cracks.
All right. You have all fines and costs are due within 56 days, or a 20% penalty can be added. Now, I certainly did not mean any disrespect to you, and wasn't coming out well. What I again meant to say is just as I said it to you. We can only survive when we. I was talking to somebody who started a program over at Cadillac, and they said people live addiction in the dark, in isolation. People live recovery in community. You could substitute that for family as well. That's why I'm drawing your attention to it. So it's not in the darkness. So you're not in isolation. So people in your family and your community know. Because I like to think, although over the last 48 hours, it's hard to think this in probate. I like to think you care. And I like to think that your community cares. And that they'll reach out to you and help you if they see something happen. And so they'll be ready to be there to help you should something.
Here's the sentence: 120 days. For some people, that's a punishment. For others, it's a forced pause. Will it be the pause Jennifer needs? Only time will tell. Final reaction: